Oh, all right. Bit of a late start today, but we're getting on for a good couple hours. And what we're gonna do here, the very first thing I gotta do actually is how's our Renar potion stack looking? We're gonna continue where we left off last night, and I gotta make some more prayer potions real quick because we are down bad on those. Let's get our other account up and running as well. We are on an entirely separate day now, and admittedly, I didn't do much progress on these prayer potions that I needed. So before we can head back to Araxxor, let me knock those out real quick. We got another 400 or so of these potions to make. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them today because I do want to squeeze in as much Araxxor as possible. So yeah, let's see how many we can get. And of course, we are back on the multi-logging grind. I have been doing some more thieving over here. We are now 78 thieving. I don't think I showed me giving or getting. No. And of course, over on 416 Hero, we are still at Varlamore pickpocketing. We are now 78 thieving. I believe I didn't really show 78 thieving when it happened. It was pretty late in the night when I got it. But nevertheless, we are going to continue thieving, and this comes out to be about like 55k EXP an hour, even when I'm only doing the AFK portion. So this is really good. Again, this is more EXP than 0 EXP, which is precisely what would happen if I wasn't doing this method. So I will take any EXP here, to be honest. Plus, we're racking up the house keys and apparently over 500k in GP. So that's pretty nice. All right, we got to make more of these. I don't want to spend too much time here doing this. I do want to get back to Araxxor. I also just got on. And my cup of coffee with me. All right. I guess this will be the last inventory of unfinished pots, and then we'll start actually making the prayer potions now. First things first, though, I have to take out all these Renar potions that went into the potion storage. Temporarily disable always deposit to potion storage. Go back to the regular bank, and now they go into the actual bank instead of the potion storage. We can re-enable that, and now we can start making these prayer potions. So logging in, I typically do my farming contract and birdhouse run, but I'm not even going to do that right now. I just want to get these prayer potions made, and head straight back into Araxxor. Hopefully there isn't another resource that we need to gather up. As far as I know, prayer potions are the only thing that's all lacking at the moment. I found myself making some more of those. But no, we need these prayer potions bad. We need these prayer potions back. And then we're going to be heading back into Araxxor, but, you know, we can't do Araxxor if we don't have prayer potions. You know, today is a day where I'm feeling like we're finally gonna get a Noxious Halberd piece. Feels like it's... No, it feels like. I mean, I guess it feels like, and it most definitely has been a long, long time since I've gone the Nox Hally piece. I wonder if I have a screenshot. You know what? Actually, there's probably a collection log screenshot of me getting the Noxious Blade. So I probably could find that somewhere. Noxious Blade. August 30th, 2024. Can't quite see what the KC was. Unfortunately, it's not showing in the screen. Oh, actually, you know what? It does show my loot tracker, though. 125. Noxious Blade at KC 125. Wow, we are quite dry, to say the least. So while I'm just standing here making my prayer potions, I thought to check when I actually pulled my very first Noxious Halberd piece, that being the blade. And according to these screenshots I have of achievement collection log pop-ups, apparently it was KC 125 when I pulled the Noxious Blade. Now if we open our collection log here at our Araxxor, you can see that we're starting our KC today at 1018, and we don't have a second piece yet, so safe to say we are quite dry. You know, obviously I had my suspicions, but that pretty much confirms it. That pretty much confirms it. How much is left on task? That is another question. Will we be able to finish the task today? Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. Okay, maybe like one more inventory after this and we'll call it good for now. I don't, like I said, I don't want to spend too much time doing this at the moment. Okay, I didn't quite have the patience to go through 400 prayer potions, but I am now up to 150 again, so that should be enough to at least carry us through this Araxxor task. And then sometime later, when I'm not in such a rush with my time to go do Araxxor, I will actually stack up my prayer potions. But for now, we have everything we need. Let's get back to the boss. Where is... There it is. Yeah, our supplies are looking good for everything else, which is good. I'm missing something. Probably a Karambon? Oh, my claws. I see. Okay. Let's go back. Gonna unplug my mouse and make it wireless, just so I'm more accustomed to how it feels. Let's head on over to Araxxor. Oh, forgot to swap spellbooks. Spellbook, Arceus. Oh, I didn't range bot. Oh, I was clicking on the wealthy citizen. I only brought one. Alright, two things as we've made it to our first trip at Araxxor here. For one thing, I was on the wrong spellbook, so I had to use my cape to change spellbooks to the proper spellbook. And then, now I'm realizing I only have one Dragon Javelin in my ammo slot, so that's not going to last very long, even considering that we have the quiver with us. Yeah, it's a little scuffed, to say the least. I'm going to try to get through this KC, and then we will re-gear properly. Well, that hurt. Run. Alright, there we go. Now we gotta TP out and grab more javelins. There we go. Let me grab a fresh new surge pot. You know, I need to do a better job of simply just moderating my YouTube video comments. Like, so we've been gaining a lot of more like traffic lately, right? I guess because we've been doing a lot of Mocha recently, and just like the consistency in which we're doing the game series. You know, it feels good. You know, like feels good that people are watching the videos. I'm having fun making them. But I guess with the more traffic generated to my channel, we also have some questionable comments that pop up in the YouTube comments. And I don't know, I just like prefer not to delete them. Like kind of give people the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know, I've already had this conversation before, to be fair, and I think the right move is just to start deleting certain comments because they're just so out of pocket and there's like no reasoning with certain people. This is like a perfect example. I'll give this as an example. This just happened quite literally right before we went on stream today. So this guy comments on my Mocha video where I'm doing like an example run of 1 through 8 with no mega rare items, like no twisted bow, no scythe for the melee punish, no ZCB, which are like items that are like, you know, pretty expensive end game type gear where, you know, not everyone has it, and people do request that, you know, can we get an example without those weapons? So I obliged, you know, I did it. And then this guy comes in here, I guess he asks, like, why am I using a Fang when the Emberlight does the same thing? And I downgraded my Scythe to a Fang for the melee punish. But, like, not only does he ask the question, which in itself perfectly reasonable, it's like, why are you bringing this, right? But then he, like, hurls insults in the same breath as he asks the question. And when I tell him, I'm like, okay, why are you in here asking a question, but also throwing insults at the same time? Like, how do you, like what are you doing, right? And then, but I answer his question anyways. I'm like, okay, yeah, the Fang actually does more damage than the Emberlight would for the melee punish. And then, so, like, when I give him that reasonable response and keep the same weird energy that he's giving me, he just dropped Cry Me a River. It's like, bro, stay in school, kids. You know, like, like, I don't know, bro. Like, that's probably an example where I should have just probably deleted his YouTube comment, because it's just like what? Like, like either you're trying to tell me something and correct something in my video, or you're genuinely asking a question. But either way, like I don't know. And again, this is like one of those situations that like I don't delete the comment and I reply, giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe they're just like they think they're being funny or something and they're joking and it's like hard to read because it's an internet comment. But then like anytime like these comments go further and further, they just end up being like stupid people. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I just I guess I'm like a little against deleting comments because I simply don't want like my YouTube videos to be like echo chambers where like every comment is like, wow, good job, bro. You know, but I've yet to really see like a genuine like constructive criticism comment where like I don't know. It's like it's especially weird because if you don't understand something and you're asking a question, you'd think you'd make it a point to like maybe sound a little bit nicer or at the very least not a complete dickhead. And then when you get your answer, you also don't respond with dickhead energy. But yeah, those are the people that you just like can't reason with, I guess, so. That's not the mirror back. Oh, I'm gonna take damage there. Yeah, I think I've made up my mind. I'm just gonna delete that guy's comment, like that entire thread. Like, honestly, I might go back on some older videos where, like, it's just like people like. Yeah, I think like in the grand scheme of things, it's just like bad to have like those kind of comments like sitting on my videos and channel and stuff. Yeah, like I've discussed this with some people before, and I think the ultimate decision is just like delete the comments and move on. On the flip side, though, it's also kind of funny sometimes when like other people come into the comment section and see like their like stupid comment and like they kind of just like do the responding for me. That is also like oddly satisfying. Okay, we got back-to-back spider cave teleports. Those things are worth a whole lot. Okay, I do think we should be able to finish this task today, especially if we don't really waste any time in between and we just keep at it. I don't know what our KC per hour is, but it's got to be like high 40s, right? So this is gonna take like maybe a little under 2 hours. Especially if I start using a couple of these spider teleports, I guess, you know, like it does save a significant chunk of time. Make sure we have our thrall going. Oops. Yeah, it'll be fine. huge claw spec. Huh? I swear I shot a tree, but I guess I didn't. Like in real life? In real life? How sick would it be if we finished this task and then we got the cape proc? That'd be so good. Genuinely wouldn't mind a back-to-back Araxxor task. So is that guy just gonna say something in the clan chat saying he thought he shot a tree, but I guess I didn't, and then just not add any context to that? Like just not add any context to that. Search motion. So you're just going to say that and not add any context. Oh, our site is down to 5,300 charges. No context needed. Oh! That makes more sense. The volatile earth. I mean, I call them trees too. They definitely do resemble trees a little bit. I don't know why that didn't occur to me, especially since Mocha's such a recent thing and we've been there too. Another KC. Prayer's looking a little sus here. I mean, I could probably manage it, but it's fine. Wouldn't be viable due to inventory space, but I suppose anything. Yeah, because Carface has 100% accuracy, I suppose anything is viable. But would you want to do that and bring like an 8-way mage switch when you're not using mage other than a 1-way switch at all? Probably not. Probably not. But I suppose you could technically bring anything. These things always insta-venom you without fail, huh? They always do. You know, the first KC of the trip is always so fun. I get to rip double claws, summon the Thrall Death Charge, and Surge Pot, like all in like a same sequence. And then I also get a third claw spec after I Death Charge. Although this KC is going so quickly, I might not get the second, or the third claw rather. Oh my goodness, that felt fast. 102? That felt faster than the 102. I'm just gonna drop this Karam one for now. I do want that Dragon Mace. That's a good bit of money right there. What is that? Like 30k, you know? I'll take 30k GP. I'm actually kind of poor right now. Well, I'm poor because I don't convert things like this 30k worth of a Dragon Mace into the actual GP. I have a lot of value sitting in my bank, but not liquid GP. Just out of laziness, honestly. Unless I'm doing, I don't know, for example, a Barrage Slayer task at Nechrils or something, where I bring what's it called? The Explorer's Ring. I'm not really going to be alking stuff often. Okay, I am going to dump a Claw Spec here because it's probably going to regen up to 100 if I don't. And leaving it sitting at 100 is actually just a waste. We always want it to be recharging. Okay, we are currently exposed to that green one we safe spot right now, but only for a couple of hits. It's fine. That Karam one we drop, pick it back up. Eat it real quick, and we get back-to-back Dragon Maces. Did they change the Araxxor drop table at some point? Because seeing all these dragon maces in my inventory, I recall a time where there might have been a lot of dragon plate legs here? Or was that a different boss and I'm just thinking of something different? Oh, we got a thrall and death charge once again. Messed up a little bit there. 17, that's quite unfortunate. If anybody's tuning in and wondering, I am using Oath Plate and Slash with the Ultor Ring. This is actually a little bit worse than, say, if you were using an Inquisitor's Top and Torva Helm, which is the other option I have. And obviously, best in slot is just Inquisitor's Legs with a Torva chestplate. I believe that is the absolute best in slot. But we don't have that combination available to us right now. We need to do more Fasani's Nightmare. But also, this Oath Plate setup does make it better for our Dragon Claw specs, so that's pretty fun. And in the grand scheme of things, like the DPS difference is very, very minimal between these setups. And Oath Plate is still the relatively new shiny toy. You know, Yama came out, what, at this point, like maybe just under 3 months ago? Speaking of Yama, so when Yama first came out, I did obviously record a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of content for Yama, but I didn't really release them live because I was very focused on keeping like a chronological order for our GIM series on YouTube here. But when Mocha came out, I kind of made the decision that I can make like 2 different types of videos. Like some videos that I can make right then and there so that it's more relevant to the time of release. And then also, I can still make like a video that fits within the GIM progression that I can release later on. So with all the Mocha videos we've released recently, there is still going to be one final Mocha video sometime in the future as part of the GIM series video. But yeah, that was just something I learned and I didn't do at Yama, so there are some Yama videos coming up on the channel shortly. And it's going to be interesting because it's still from the POV of the initial Yama release where, you know, like, I'm learning the boss as we go. There's no relevant information yet on how to do the boss, what's on the drop table. So it's going to be interesting in that regard, I suppose. Took a bit of damage on that last case. He just absolutely yapping my head off right there, but we didn't die, so that's good. Now we're gonna death charge off of this, and our spec is once again 100%, so we aren't going to just let these claw specs rip, I suppose. And I think we can search bot? We can, yes. Also, speaking about the GIM series, if you guys are interested in following along with it, and you guys are new to the channel, there is a link in the description to the full playlist from episode 1. And also, I guess a good way to catch up is I also do upload them in, like, I suppose like a compilation movie style thing, so that you can just like watch one video rather than 50 videos, for example. It's just one big one instead. There are 2 separate playlists for that, so if you're interested. I'm just yapping away right now because honestly, there's not much going on unless we pull a drop right here. 70 U-Logs. That is certainly a drop. That is a drop. Also, since mocha still is very much the flavor of the month, if you guys are looking for more mocha content, I do also have a playlist on the channel that is all the mocha related things we've done so far. From the guide to just like some Delve 8 example runs to like a full run with max gear or non-max gear. We got all of that. I even have a Final Dawn video, which was pretty much me like live right when the update went live, and I was trying to figure out how to do the quest. It's not really like a quest guide. In fact, okay, it's not a quest guide at all, but it is like a follow along. And I don't know, is the Final Dawn quest on Quest Helper already? Because if not, I suppose something like that could be pretty useful still, until Quest Helper makes it available. Okay, if we just lock in here, we should be able to squeeze in another KC, as long as we don't take a ton of damage. And we're going to open up this KC with some claw specs, or just a singular one. And make sure a thrall is going. Alright, what kind of rotation are we at right now? Red spider egg first, okay. Go ahead and rip this claw right here. Sip our prayer potion. As soon as that hits me, I step forward, or underneath rather. Lure the red spider over to the green one, and simultaneously doing damage to the boss. Then we can start out, camp out at this corner here until it does another special, or it enters the enrage phase depending on our DPS. So here we go. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little confused there. Like, I wasn't sure if it entered enrage phase or not. Ended up taking a ton of damage. A little scary right now, as we are just like, what, like 2 mistakes away from dying. But also, we know exactly what's gonna happen, right? So it should be fine. There we go. Final KC of the trip. That was KC 1035. We're gonna get 120 coal. It's not very exciting. Not at all. Alright. I guess we did do a fair bit of KC on that trip. I mean, we got the 2 dragon mace rolls, we got the U logs, we got some kind of seed. I already forgot what that was. I banked it already. Oh, I need to... Let's probably go in with more than just a 1 dose super divine, right? Like, yeah. We got 65 left on task. Okay, okay. Are we really getting like 40 something per hour? Go away, dwarf. If anybody's wondering why we're at Araxxor right now, when we already have the Amulet of Rancor, that's because we're going after the Noxious Halberd. And unfortunately, in the 1035 KC that we do have, we only have the 1 Noxious piece. If I'm not mistaken, I did Google or wiki this recently, but I don't remember the exact number. It might be like a 1 in 200 for any of the Noxious Halberd pieces, and actually a 1 in 150 if you include the Amulet of Rancor, or the Araxxor thing, rather. So, safe to say we're a bit unlucky right now. Also, while we're here at Araxxor, you might hear like a little bit of game sounds in the background that aren't accurate to what we're doing here at Araxxor. And that's because on the other account, right now, we are doing some Varlamore thieving. So about every minute and a half or so, you're probably going to hear some pickpocketing sounds. And I can showcase what we're doing over there in a second. But Varlamore thieving is... there is a portion to the thieving which is incredibly AFK, and you have like a little window of time every minute and a half or so, where you just have to click on these wealthy citizens that you pickpocket from once, and you can do like, I don't know, anywhere between 10 to 20, I think, probably less than 20, pickpockets within like a given window. And you don't get interrupted, you can't fail. Like, for example, just then I got 12 coin pouches. Just doing this, like, solely AFK portion of it, you do end up getting about 55k EXP an hour, I think, somewhere around there. Currently, I'm at 48.6, I guess, because I'm not, you know, like, too focused on that. It's definitely a secondary thing to me right now, as I'm focusing on doing Araxxor. But yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, like this method, I mean, it's getting me thieving EXP that I otherwise would not be getting at all. So some EXP is better than no EXP. Red spider comes out, lure it over. Okay, I don't know, that was just like instinctively clicking my thralls again, but we did not need to do that. What we do need to do is Surge Pot. We didn't do that. Dragon Maces again. But yeah, I'll chuck the POV on a small screen right there. I don't know. Let me know if you want to keep that little screen on as to what I'm doing on the second account. It's not particularly interesting, but it is something I'm also doing at the same time, so... Yeah, all I'm doing right there is I'm at the center of Varlamore, at the town center, or whatever you want to call it, the bazaar, the marketplace. And I'm just standing here. And in a little bit here, you'll see that that screen's going to flash. That's just going to indicate to me that one of the wealthy citizens are distracted. And then I'll be free to pickpocket. Oh, there it goes. And then I just click on the citizen. There's a couple other people on this world here doing the exact same thing as well, so... As soon as that message pops up, a bunch of people just pile on the wealthy citizen and start pickpocketing. And since right there I was pretty on point, I managed to get 16 pickpockets. Reclaw back to finish out that KC. What do we get? Oh, our inventory's full. Dude, the dragon maces again. You know, come to think of it, I don't think I've seen dragon plate legs here, have I? Oh, no, I have. I guess they're just not that common. I must be thinking of another boss. Going back to what I said earlier about seeing a lot of dragon plate legs. I suppose it's also a rune plate legs. Those are more common. We still have 62 left on task, but it is getting a little spooky. By now, I would have thought I'd have a second Noxious Halberd piece. I mean, in all honesty, you know, we should be done, you know? Like, it's a 1 in 200 to see any Noxious Halberd piece. And with the way this works, you can't actually get a dupe piece. So, our first 3 pieces are always going to complete a full Noxious Halberd. But, after all this time, we are still on the 1 Noxious Halberd piece, which I think I explained earlier, it was way back at KC 125 here, so it's been a long, long time. I wasn't prepared for that red explodey spider right there, honestly. $61 to go. But yeah, by the time we're done with this task, it's going to end up on a nice clean number of 1,100. Pretty cool that it has worked out that way, I suppose. What would be even cooler, though, is if we actually, you know, get a halberd by the time we're done with this task. Let's get our thrall going again. Should probably utilize our spec. I don't know why sometimes I just get in this mode where I'm just busy scything away and I just forget to use my spec. I mean, honestly though, like sometimes it's hard to tell because the scythe absolutely just slaps the boss anyways. Let's get that charged before the finishing blow here. It is 1 HP, Thrall KO. Alright, what do we get here? 1040. What was that? Death runes? Death runes. That just goes into my existing stack. Let's make sure we pot up again. Surge pot. I seem to forget the surge pot quite often. But like that, something like that's a little bit more crucial because, you know, you can only use a dose every 5 minutes. So really, I should be using those like as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hide the Varlamore pickpocketing for now. But if anybody has any input on that, any feeling any type of way, whether having that like little screen up on for the second account is like interesting at all, let me know. I guess it also depends on the content that we're doing. Oh. Let's squeeze out one more KC here. Oh, that supply drop certainly helps. Certainly helps. Resummon our Thrall. Dodge. Death charge for this mirrorback egg that's gonna hatch soon. Probably after this slice swing. Yep, there we go. Ballista it. Now we can go back to this corner here. in rage phase. Almost tempted to do another KC, but we'll bank. We shall bank. I think I just TP'd to my POH while I was in the POH. Classic, classic. We probably have a pretty healthy stack of dragon maces sitting in the bank now, huh? I think I mentioned this before, but I discovered that here pickpocketing wealthy citizens at Varlamore, you do end up getting a decent amount of these easy clue scrolls, which I do need because I'm after a ham joint, mostly for Fasani's Nightmare. Now, I know the best way is ham members. At least it was the best way. I don't know if things have changed, but I know that was the pretty known method of obtaining easy clues. Pickpocketing ham members. But I simply don't want to do that. But if I can get easy clues while AFK thieving, you know what? I think that's the move. I have been trying to do easy clues passively here on this account. But even though I'm technically missing out on easy clues on the other account right now, I mean, I'm not actively playing on that account, so I don't care for it too much. It wouldn't be very AFK if I was doing every single easy clue that I picked up. Honestly, it's a little like unfortunate whenever the mirror back does spawn right here. Like I do wish I dealt the DPS enough to where I beat the boss before that one hatches, but hey, what can you do? But when it does spawn, it makes it a little bit more annoying. Like I kind of do have to deal with it, otherwise I do end up taking a decent amount of damage. So we got 57 left on task. The aim right now is to hopefully finish this task within this stream. I don't know. I guess like it's gonna take a little over an hour from this point on, I suppose. But also, I suppose it's not the end of the world if we don't finish the task. We'll just do as much as we can here. It's all good. Another KC. A U-seed. You know, if it's a chance to see something every 1 in 50, and or 1 in 150, I should say, and I only have 2 drops at the moment. I suppose I'm over... I'm actually quite dry, huh? Because by now I should have, what, like... Like at least 6 drops, right? If not 7. And yet I have 2. Oh, I clicked on the leg. Yeah, something is not right here at Araxxor, unfortunately. More dragon maces, oh boy. Are the dragon maces here like the rune pickaxes we get from Calvarion? It's just that drop that we get so often, and we start getting sick of seeing. A 1? That should not be allowed to happen. That's crazy. Huge side swing. Come on, before that mirror back hatches. Thank you. 1046. 4 toad flax seeds. I wonder how many of those we have. I can't remember the last time I planted any toad flax seeds, honestly. The only things that I've really planted recently are the Huasca, however you pronounce that. You know, the prayer regeneration seeds, the pink, purple looking ones, and Renards. Is there like a wiki page that like has like definitive like pronunciations of like certain RuneScape words? Also, I'm sure when the devs and whatnot create content, right, they have like a definitive pronunciation. Even going back to things like, is it a Raynar or a Renar? Don't even get me started on the Ardy, the full name of Ardy. Ardoon? Ardoin? Ardogne? All right, no one unironically pronounces it Ardogne, right? 45 earth orbs. Okay, okay. I think the thrall finished it there. So, in other news, my membership on this account is expiring pretty soon, so I need to make some money here and re-up on my membership. Honestly, we used to make a lot of GP on our grinds going for the twisted bow and like, you know, just raids in general. We haven't raided as much recently. In fact, we barely raid these days. And even when I haven't dropped over any dupes to my normal account in quite some time, so we're actually hurting on the GP department. And then over the course of the Mocha grind, I actually chucked like 2 of Vernix into Death's Coffer, which just feels bad. Like, I know it's better to chuck things into Death's Coffer, especially overtaking your actual GP on an Ironman. And even on normal accounts, that's actually the move too, because you do get a little bit more value when you chuck stuff into the Death's Coffer. But I don't know, it just feels bad. It just feels bad to do that. But you know what? The only reasonable solution to it all is to simply stop dying. But that's a big ask when you're doing new content, because even hardcores, you know, they'll play on another account and they'll start dying on the other account whenever they're learning content. Huge claw scratch right there. Oh my god, another one. Oh, that's unfortunate. Alright, let's not die here. You know, our food situation was looking great, but our prayer, not so much. Or, yeah, our prayer, not so much. Please. Oh my goodness, I'm 3 HP. 1049? Some antidotes. Oops, didn't mean to bin everything into the bank there. Oh, we got a dude actually AFKing at the crouch here. I didn't just like ruin his spot there, did I? I don't even know what I'm running through here, honestly. Like, it's such a long trek. I just click down here towards the south. And then I'm looking at my other screen and stuff like that. 51 left on task. I might have stepped one tile too far away. I'll just take the little chip damage here, honestly. I mean, it's 6 health. There we go. Just returned for another trip. That was KC 1050. So 50 left on task until we get the nice clean 1100 number. I think I like this rotation. This one's just like satisfying to do. Gotta resummon our Thrall. It's even better when our DPS is so good that we managed to skip this mirror back here. Unfortunately, not this time, though. But we also managed to not actually do any damage to ourselves. Right there. Dragon Maces. Dragon Maces. Dodge. Well, that was a huge side swing there. Keep our prayer up. That charge. What are we getting? 12 Araxxor Venoms. I guess you can get anywhere between 6 to 12. Although I think I've seen like a 1 drop too, so I'm not really sure. Maybe it's like two different rolls that you could get. Scrawl. I am going to send a Kloss back here because in a second we're going to proc our death charge off the white mirror back. Like so. Now we have a ton of spec. Probably going to enter in rage phase before the red egg spawns. Oh, that was pretty good execution right there, I'd like to think. 111. Oh my god, this blade, like this noxious halberd piece is just not real. It's just not real. Oh. Oh man, we're gonna be 150 mil strength DXP soon. Almost certainly within this task, right? You get so much strength DXP here. Uh-oh, this is gonna hurt. That's not. A little messy here, that's fine. $45 orbs. Now that would be some good GP if I ever bothered to actually turn those into the battle staves. Big if, big if. This is walking the spider. Unfortunate side swings there. Ooh, a supply drop. We're getting closer to 79 thieving now. We are currently just 31.4k EXP away. Make sure we have death charge going. Very nice. Oh, we can pick up that shark now. Didn't despawn yet. 44 to go. Oh my god, I almost wasn't ready for that to spawn. I was rubbing my eyes. Good morning, time to stare at seaweed for 6 hours straight. I guess you need seaweed spores underwater or something. Go, Scythe, go. Oh. Probably one more based on our prayer. I'm beginning to question if I should bring some more prayer potions. What was that? Death runes again? Death runes. I don't know. I think we'll just stick with our current inventory situation. Should be okay. It's nice when we have a nice long task like this because I just know immediately what to do, right? Rather than just kind of jumping from place to place trying to figure out what we can do, and then when we do something, it ends just as quickly as it starts. But something like an Araxxor task, an Araxxite task doing Araxxor all the way through, like we're going to be here for a bit. It would make this a lot more fun, though, if I actually started using some drops, please. I thought I clicked. Okay. And there goes another trip. Once again, for some reason, I banked everything. It's not so bad when you have the inventory set up, I suppose. You just, go through the setup and click on everything. Here we go again. Didn't do that much DPS right there, even though we dumped all the specs and everything. Bit of a shame. How goes the grind? It's been pretty fun, but in terms of actually getting any of the drops so far, unfortunately, we haven't seen anything. I mentioned earlier in the stream, here at Araxxor, we're right now we're at 1059 KC, and we're here for the Noxious Halberd pieces. We only have the one piece, and we pulled that back on KC 125 when the boss first came out, like, I don't know, at this point, like a year ago, I suppose? But it's been a long time since I've had a Araxxite KC, so, like, doing the boss itself, pretty fun so far. But no luck in terms of the drops. Oh, let's get our super combat up and running once again. Hope you're luckier than I am. I'm ranked 35 in the world there. I was going for pet. Oof. Did you start doing any pulls at all? Or like sacrifices, I could say, for the pet roll? Which, speaking of which, I'm very reluctant to do that. I'm not here for the pet at the moment. But, if I ever do want a green log here and get the white rancor, that's something I will have to do, right? And I don't know if I can bring myself to destroy loot. Don't know if I can bring myself to do that. You did around 1900 destroys and then it went back to looting. It was hard to destroy. Yeah, for sure. Especially that much. Like, I don't even want to destroy one time right now because you just never know if you're gonna make some good money. But yeah, I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get there. When the pet is something I need to go after. Who knows? Like maybe I do get very lucky and I never have to even consider pulling. But yeah, right now we're worrying about a 1 in 150 drop more so than a whatever the pet rate is. Yeah, it's definitely a interesting concept that they introduced here. I think Araxxor's the first thing, right? This was the first time they introduced that concept here. And I mean, I don't mind it, but it's probably not something for me. I don't know. Just wouldn't be able to bring myself to do it. Whether I was an Iron Man or a main or not, like I'm just a loot goblin, you know? I gotta get the loot. No, we got a death charge and thrall again. Probably would have been good to death charge at the end of that KC. Good luck, brother. I know you'll get that Hally done. Hey, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. I'd be happy if I could walk away with this task right now with just one more piece. That'd be great. We shall see, we shall see. Could potentially get the cape proc, the Slayer cape proc, and maybe get the Araxxor task back to back, who knows. Also, whenever we do get a spiders task, I suppose I will also come back here. Oh, we can surge pot here? And then claw spec. Oh, maybe not claw spec when that bad boy is out. A 119. Araxxor Venom Sacs. You know, we've gone through a decent amount of those, so it's actually nice to get some. I mean, we don't get very many when we're doing the boss, but when we're out there doing the normal Araxxites... Honestly, like, I wouldn't run into the problem if I was just not lazy. Because I have done several normal Araxxor tasks before, going for the Imbued Heart. And if I had actually bothered to pick up the Araxxor Venom Sacs then, I would have a very good amount of those. But at some point, I just had like over 1,000 and then I got lazy. But yeah. Yeah, I really want this Noxious Halberd, mostly for two things that I can think of right now, and that's the Colosseum and the Inferno. Along with the Noxious Halberd, there's also the Void Waker and like a few other items, but namely the Void Waker and Noxious Halberd that I really want to get, so that they can help me with the Grandmaster, or the road to the Grandmaster combat achievements rather. That's going to help in the Inferno and the Colosseum, I believe. And perhaps even one of those, like, 5/6 Jad challenges. So yeah, we've got a bit of grinding to do. It's nice to have goals at this stage still, though, because, you know, we're maxed. We got most of the gear. It's just a lot of niche stuff that we're missing these days. But also, you know, the game is always constantly updating, so there's new things to do. But we went pretty hard during the Mocha release. I mean, right now, what, has it even been 3 full weeks since Mocha came out? Probably not, right? Or just about 3 weeks. But yeah, we put an incredible amount of hours within the first 2 weeks. 2 weeks and some change, actually. 2.5 weeks, probably. Where we were just, putting in insane hours. So, as crazy as it sounds, Mocha is actually behind us for now. At least until the combat achievements come back out. Which I would have thought they would come out last week along with the drop table announcements, but I guess not. I'm a little low here. Ouch. Too busy yapping and not properly doing the boss. Just heal back up. Wait, that was strange. I didn't have, death charge. Huh. I feel like with double death charge now, you just almost always have it up, but I guess not. I guess, like, depending on the timing of when you proc things, there might still be, like, a little bit of a, like, downtime. Because I noticed I didn't have the death charge, like, already activated on a timer, and I also couldn't cast it. I thought I ran out of runes for a second. Ooh, a supply drop, okay. I'm not sure how much that's gonna extend this trip by, maybe not at all, but nice to have a free prayer potion. Oh man, that was probably close to a max scythe swing right there. That was like a 590 strength EXP drop. I think that's the highest I've seen. I know I saw one max hit splat in there. The other two numbers were probably close to the max. I swear I clicked. Yeah, right there, I'm like very certain, like 100% sure I clicked there. I don't know what happened there though. Alright, we do have some wild pies in our inventory. I'm gonna make use of those and get ourselves another KC before the end of this trip. As long as we don't mess up too badly, this should be perfectly fine. See, right there, I swear I shift-clicked to move under the boss, and it just didn't do anything for like a tick. And then I stood there in the acid pool for a tick. Very weird. Okay, my thrall is gone, but I mean, a couple more side swings here, right? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna summon it. It barely costs anything to summon a thrall, you know? Oh, I switched off rigor too early. Yeah, remember when I said, like, as long as I don't mess up too much? It's looking a little rough right here. Alright, made it through, though. What was that? Death runes again? Death runes again. Honestly, it might be quicker if I do end up just banking my entire inventory and just re-gearing like that. That took a little bit right there, just trying to like filter things out and reorganize. Okay, as much as I would like to finish this task within this stream, um, this probably is going to be our last trip, and unless this trip happens to be a 33 KC trip, we're not going to be finishing the task here, unfortunately. I'll probably finish this off stream sometime later tonight, but yeah, this is going to be the last trip for now. Let's see if we can pull a Noxious Halberd piece. Or you know what, at this point, I will even take a dupe Araxxor Fang. I know that thing is actually much rarer, but honestly, we're coming up on being due for that as well, I think. Maybe not quite yet, but I do have use for a second one. I can trade it on over to the second account that already has an Amulet of Torture, so that's good. But yeah, we're obviously here for the Noxious Halberd. But just seeing a drop in general here would be nice, since it's been quite some time. Just me, or has the DPS been absolutely insane on this first KC? 110. I don't know why. I mean, I think it's just based off the rotations. Like, certain rotations, like, will feel faster than others, I think. You know, I think before we're done with this trip, well, actually, yeah, I don't know, maybe not. It's pretty close though, but we're almost 79 thieving on the other account. Pretty close. About 11k EXP away. $10.69. Wow, back-to-back supply drops, you know? This, I guess the game heard that, like, you know, this was my last trip, and they're like, you know what, we're gonna make you stay on for just a little bit longer. So I have these tile markers down from a long time ago during the initial release, and like I had like a vague understanding of like how to use them, but I'm not gonna lie, it only just clicked to me just now how exactly to use them. And obviously I'm not talking about, you know, this one's clearly labeled acid start, so that's the green one, and the mirror start for the white mirror back one. I'm talking like, supposedly there's like a timing there where I can do 2 scythe swings on one of the tiles. And I guess it actually doesn't matter which tile I do 2 scythe swings on, but it's the timing. Because, not gonna lie, before, I found myself a lot of times stepping back at the wrong times, and then I get hit with the projectile attack. Let's get our thrall going, death charge. So right here, if I scythe twice... Oh. Step back here. There we go, beautiful. These Avernic treads are so good. Clanmate referred to them as Boots Mega Rares, and honestly, I think they're right. They're just so good. They might as well be like a form of a Mega Rare, but they're not as rare as a Mega Rare. Like it's actually not that difficult to obtain, in all honesty. Like even if you can't do deep delves, like you can get it as early as Wave 4. And I don't know what the numbers are if you crunch it, if you're only farming 1 through 4 for the Avernic Treads, but it can't take as long as actually going for a Mega Rare. No shot. Also, the requirements to do Doom Amoka, especially in the context of those low levels, those low delve clears, very minimal, honestly. You don't need a whole lot. Okay. Yeah, I swear that was a bit of lag right there. When I clicked to dodge that red spider, it felt like there was a delay there. How many people are on this world right now? I know they added a bunch of extra worlds, but man, even with that, like there's still 1,000 people online on a what's the day today? Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday, like evening. $28 left on task. So if I do 2 scythe swings here, you know, I step back onto this tile, 1 scythe swing, step back onto this tile, 1 scythe swing, step back to this tile, scythe swing, and then step back. See, we made it here safely. It's just, but it doesn't matter when I do those 2 scythe swings, I don't think. Okay, we're going to be death charging in a moment here, and we have just about 100 specs, so we might as well just dump these. Oops. The world feels very sticky right now, if like you guys know what I mean. It's like I'm clicking and it's not responding when I'm trying to move and stuff. It's like I'm stuck. It's like, you know what, the perfect way I like to describe lag in almost any game really, it's like you're like getting dragged through the mud. You're trying to walk through mud. It's just not smooth. And it's crazy because like even on a game like this, you can tell. Very glad that they are like they have added and are looking to add more servers and like looking to like making like servers more stable and whatnot. Because you know if the game is going to be growing like it has been, with like all-time peaks on concurrent players and whatnot, yeah, this is definitely something they have to address. Especially given that like the content they add in these days are like so crucial on timing. Like Mocha, like imagine trying to do Mocha on inconsistent ping. Like that is terrible. Like you get to delve 8 and heck even like 7 when you're like when the projectiles are a lot quicker and like timing is that much more crucial. Oh my, I dodged way too early there, and I realized I kind of backed myself into a corner. That was a little spooky. A little spooky. I was actually a little bit distracted trying to figure out what they were talking about in the clan chat. No, I think they're talking about like the awards or something. A golden gnome or whatever, they hand out to like content creators and stuff. In Surge Pot in just a second here. But yeah, this trip has actually been decently extended because our first two KCs were supply drops, so that was pretty nice. But this will be our last trip for now. I'm likely going to do a little bit more later tonight. If not, maybe at the start of the next stream. But yeah, that's all the time I have for now. That charge? $24 Mortmire Fungus. Oop. Just going through some stream settings there. Taking a fair bit of damage here. Let's stuff these pies in our face and squeeze out another KC. Just doing one more KC on the trip at Araxxor, but before we do that, 79 Thieving. Looks like we didn't really unlock anything, but another level. We are now 1829 total. I do like that, like, before you claim your loot, it doesn't start the respawn timer, so you can just, like, chill a little bit. So I was wondering earlier, you know, if we would get the level before we were done or not. I guess we did get the level. I guess we did. All right. Last KC of the trip there, we got ourselves antidote potions. Okay, antidote plus pluses to be exact. Actually, are there regular antidote potions? As far as I know, there's only antidote plus pluses. Huh. Well, anyways, that was KC 1077. We have 23 left on task to go. Alright, guys, I am gonna have to call it there. Pretty close to wrapping up this task, but not quite there yet. It is what it is. But yeah, I'll probably, I'll probably still be gaming a little bit later tonight. Unlikely to start another stream though. We're just trying to keep like a balance here where we try to stream consistently and put and actually when I'm live, I want to be a bit more talkative, engage with the chat, and instead of just sitting here quietly gaming, like what's the point in streaming when you're low energy and doing that? So just trying to find a balance, plus also pump out the YouTube videos like we have been doing. But yeah, like flavor of the month has been the Doom of Mocha, obviously. If anybody's looking for content for that, we do have plenty of that on the channel, including a guide and several walkthroughs. But yeah, other than that, have a good one, guys, and take it easy, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.